Defending champions KKR lost, CSK stuck to their strategy of spin to win, and perhaps most disappointing, Ayaz, was that the Sunrisers couldn't even score 300. So lots to talk about from the IPL weekend, so let's go. Let's start off with the biggest rivalry, CSK and Mumbai. Now, this seemed like a match where we knew the result even before the match could happen. I mean, CSK have assembled a team that is essentially to win everything at home and pick up a few wins outside and make it to the playoffs. And Mumbai, I looked up the stat yesterday and they were also saying it on TV, was that they haven't won the first game of the season since 2012. So, with the likes of Ashwin, Jadeja and Noor Ahmed on that Chepauk pitch, do we just pencil in CSK for the playoffs, Ayaz?
Well, I mean, they've got off to a good start, unlike Mumbai. Mumbai haven't won their first match, as we mentioned, in many, many seasons. But remember, Mumbai were without Hardik Pandya, their captain, and Jasprit Bumrah, unarguably the world's premier bowler in whichever format you want to consider now. So that was the handicap that they started with. Even so, I thought they made a real good match of it, and thanks largely to a young, spinner, left-arm spinner coming in, Vignesh Puthur, who nobody had heard of. Obviously, he was playing his first match, and in many ways it brings out it's a trademark IPL story, isn't it, Anirudh? Now, the kind of talent that comes in from the remotest parts of the country, from the most diverse kind of backgrounds. This guy is, Puthur is from. I mean, his father is a rickshaw driver, so he comes in, makes an impact in the middle overs, picks up 3 wickets, and Mumbai are now almost jostling with CSK for points there. I mean, yes, CSK got through because I think Mumbai's total was very modest, 155, but 15-20 runs more could have made it even closer. So we had a very good match. I mean, Sunday's matches, if you see, study in contrast. The first match, SRH versus RR, 528 runs scored. Let me say that again, 528. Exciting in its own way, but the second match, Chennai Super Kings versus Mumbai Indians, more taut, more compelling because it involved players to display more skills and better temperament and so on and so forth. Just 313 runs scored in that match. So I think it was a very good Sunday for the IPL, with all these different dimensions coming in from the different kinds of players. Noor Ahmed, everybody talks about Rashid Khan and Mujibur Rahman and Mohammad Nabi as the Afghan spinners to reckon with. And here is Noor Ahmed. He's been around for a while, but he's come into his own. So I thought it was a terrific Sunday.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you about Vignesh Puthur. So he was one of the bright spots for Mumbai. But the question is that he was picked because this was essentially a spin-friendly track at the Chepauk. Now, we know Mumbai have a really good scouting system and they've seemed to earn their keep once more. But the question is, and he also got a pat from the back from Thala himself after the match, which was a great moment for the young boy. But do you think he'll get more game time? Because he'll only come in when the pitches are friendly, and a lot of them aren't, in case you haven't noticed. So I don't think they'll probably go with Mitch Santner as their opening, as their spin option, because he also gives you a lot with the bat. So do you see this young kid getting a lot more opportunities?
That's the moot question. But I think, you can't ask for better mentorship or nurturing at this stage of your career than going to one of these two franchises, which are renowned for nurturing young players, sometimes even veterans. Ajinkya Rahane will tell you what happened to him when he went to CSK and so on. So I think he's got off to a very good start. The thing about IPL is if you do well, and especially against a marquee team or in a marquee clash, it just immediately ramps up your profile. You're suddenly in public consciousness. Now, two things can happen from there. Either you don't know how to traverse your path, or you grow rapidly. And I hope for Puthur's, in Puthur's case, his development is rapid. Now that can only happen if he gets more game time. So as you mentioned rightly, Mitchell Santner is actually their, frontline left-arm spinner. And everywhere they might not be able to play 3 or 4 spinners. So Puthur might be just the kind of, impact substitute who comes in every now and then. But that in itself is a great learning curve.
Yeah, true that. And speaking of, we spoke about how CSK have the strategy of squeezing the opposition in the middle overs. Sunrisers have a different kind of strategy. They're just bashing everything out of the park, and they'll break 300 soon. We have no doubt about it. I mean, we had called it last season, didn't happen, but they've started off with 286 this season, and now they've got Ishan Kishan, another redemption story of the IPL. Let go from Mumbai, lost his central contract, comes back with a century on debut for the Sunrisers, and now they've also got someone like Harshal Patel, who picks up the wickets when going for that big chase. The opposition does tend to lose wickets, and he's the guy to get them. So, what did you make of the first sighting of SRH? More of the same?
I think SRH is the team to reckon with. I mean, last season they finished runners up. I think they look better now with Ishan Kishan being there. Somebody like Aiden Markram, who used to be with them earlier, is now with LSG. So it's opened up an opportunity for fitting in Ishan Kishan. Ishan Kishan, Abhishek Sharma, and Travis had three left-handers, devastating, almost on par, if not a little ahead of LSG's three, which is Rishabh Pant, David Miller, and Nicholas Puran. So this is going to be one of those, I think, a very heady IPL because the format itself is action-packed, but there seems to be now this what is now called, almost as a cliche, batting fearlessly. But batting fearlessly is also now taking it to a different level. 286 to start with. You're right. I think 300 is going to crumble this season, and then not just by SRH. There are other teams like I mentioned. LSG could be one of those teams which is chasing a score of 300 if the top order clicks. So beware bowlers. I think there's a lot of hard times ahead.
Yeah. So lastly, first match, RCB took on the defending champions KKR and they won quite easily at the end, and Virat Kohli stayed not out. Now, the whole narrative of this season, this being the 18th season and Virat Kohli's number being 18, is that could this finally be the one time that he actually lifts the title? And Shah Rukh Khan spoke about it in the opening ceremony. But from what you saw of RCB in that first match, do you think that could happen, or do you think there are far stronger teams who are doing it more consistently?
Well, on paper, I didn't think that RCB was such a strong team. They let go of people like Faf du Plessis, Mohammad Siraj, Maxwell, who've been with them for a few seasons. They didn't win the title even when they were there, and they haven't won when there was Chris Gale or AB de Villiers. So I wouldn't fault the other players too much. But I thought the performance they put up at the Eden Gardens was very impressive. If Josh Hazelwood is fit and bowling the kind of in the manner in which he did there, and then they've got Krunal Pandya, who I think is an ace in T20 in the IPL. Then they've got the bowling wherewithal. Yash Dayal bowled really well. And if they've got Virat Kohli in the kind of form that he showed, Phil Salt. So whether they'll win the title or not, it's premature to talk about it now. But I think that they will put up a good show. I mean, last year they finished in the playoffs. This year, if they get into the playoffs, that's what every team is aspiring for at this stage. Get into the playoffs. Don't think beyond the playoffs. After that, let's see how it goes. But priority right now is getting into the playoffs. And I thought that they were very impressive, beating KKR. Not easy to beat KKR at the Eden Gardens. And certainly, given the track record, the head-to-head record of these two teams, I thought this was in many ways an upset and the first upset of this season.
Yeah, so there you have it. The opening weekend delivered everything that was promised and more. And we'll get back to you after the next batch of matches. So that's it for this episode of Sports Room. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Andrew. We'll catch up soon.